Hey, what's up, guys? It is the PlantFight Podcast. We have a lot to talk about. We had Justin Gaethje take the interim lightweight title from Tony Ferguson, and then we had Anthony Smith get upset by Glover Teixeira. Glover really showed he can go out and do the damn thing. I mean, that was crazy. This is the PlantFight Podcast. I'm Dip.
I'm Tuck.
And let's dive in.
Yeah. Starting off, UFC 249 was a treat, and after not having UFC for that long, like they really spoiled us. And that main event, while it wasn't the fight we thought it would be as far as closeness, but Gaethje just put on such a composed technical performance that it's really hard to it's hard to argue who beats him when he comes and shows up like that. Like Khabib's gonna have a rough night, everybody's gonna have a rough night. Yeah. I don't think Tony looked as bad as people made him out to be.
I think Justin Gaethje just fought a great fight.
Exactly.
It was just one of those things where I think maybe Tony could have implemented some of the things he was trying to do earlier, when he wasn't as tired. But also, I don't think Tony's ever been that tired.
Exactly, yeah.
So I don't think he expected to be like that.
Yeah.
I think I was surprised, too, because we talked about the biggest thing with Justin Gaethje was his cardio. That's one of the things that everyone criticizes about Justin is that he can't go into later rounds, and it was almost like he got another wind in like the third round and could just keep pushing. And
you heard it in his corner too, where they realized he was starting to turn back into his old self and get a little reckless, and they're like, hey, take some steam off your shots, you're getting tired, we don't need that, we need you to keep your cardio, because this is where he finishes.
What's his name?
Trevor Whitman.
Trevor Whitman. He said you're trying to put his head in the stands. He's like, take some off of it. And that was great advice. That's why he's considered one of the greatest MMA coaches ever, because things like that, it takes a lot to see that,
and then it's like what Kamaru Usman said, it's easy to have cardio when you're the hammer, it's harder to have cardio when you're the nail. And Tony is almost always used to coming forward and pressuring and being the hammer. And in this instance, he wasn't, and it wore on him. I mean, you saw that. It happens to literally everyone. Getting punched pulls away your cardio, especially getting punched by someone as hard as Gaethje. And I think if they rematch, Tony definitely will do better.
I agree.
Yeah, he trained for...
He trained so long for a grappler.
Yeah, for 4 months for a grappling only, pretty much. Fighter, and Gaethje definitely is not that. Where I was surprised was Tony couldn't. It seemed like Tony couldn't even close the distance on him to get clinches. Where I thought Tony is one of the best at stepping in and getting underhooks and pummeling you to the fence. Gaethje was able to keep him at an arm's reach and really show off his expertise in that mid range, and let Tony come put himself in harm's way while Gaethje kind of just waits to land those gnarly shots. And I think that's going to bode well for if Gaethje ever fights Khabib, because Khabib rushes recklessly. So if Gaethje can come with that same composed approach and maybe just change his shots instead of those wild hooks to maybe short uppercuts and left straights and right straights, he'll definitely be able to keep Khabib off him a little bit more. But Khabib's style of pressure is so much different than Tony's, so it's hard to say. Because Tony's is a little more plodding and methodical, while Khabib's is reckless and straightforward. But that recklessness leaves you open. So, man, I definitely didn't think Justin Gaethje was going to get it done. So,
I did not. Yeah. I don't. Both of us said we thought Tony would win. Now, the biggest thing, like I said, was his cardio. Even after the second round, I was like, he's dying out. I'm like, there's no way. And then Tony dropped him with that uppercut. And that was bad. That was a vicious... It wasn't like he just dropped him. He crushed him. And he just... Justin was a little out of it. And then when he came back the third, fourth round, it was like he had a nice head of steam.
But Justin went into his corner and was smiling and laughing and happy that happened. He's
crazy.
Yeah, he's a psycho. I thought the stoppage was a little late. Give the man a career.
Would you have thrown in the towel?
Yeah, I would have.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we talked about it during the fight and afterwards too. When his corner's giving advice, do the Imanari roll, and his other coaches are asking the other coaches to come step in, because they don't have an answer, and Tony doesn't have an answer. Really, I would love it if Tony, he can do the same thing he does, and just bring in a very knowledgeable head coach. It's not that hard to do. Or even, get Eddie Bravo in there full-time if you really just want, a hardcore jiu-jitsu base.
Exactly.
Just you got to diversify really a little bit. Like, you just can't have a dude who knows how to hold pads for you. That doesn't work.
Exactly.
Like that. And like when you're doing stuff like throw the sand at him, like you've been getting fucking domed for 4 rounds.
Do you know what was sick though when he did that and kicked his leg out from under him? That was so sick. Like, I wish he could have capitalized on that.
Yeah. If Tony doesn't go to like a camp, I get it. Like, I get it. He's a lone wolf. He likes to train by himself. He likes to run his own camps. He does his own thing. He's a weird fucking dude.
Right.
But you get so much better when you have good sparring partners around you and other world champs around you. So imagine how crazy good Tony Ferguson could be if he went to like Jackson Wink.
Right.
Or if he went to American Top Team and trained
something
with
like
Usman and the rest of those boys. Like, he could be wild. Just wildly good.
I agree. I'm excited though. That whole lightweight division, like, is crazy. You could do anything with it. Like, you could do Conor, Tony now.
Yeah.
Down the line. I mean, there's so much you could do with it.
Man, Tony, like, he's already back training too, which is scary to me.
I know.
What I would love to see is Khabib, Gaethje, Poirier, Conor, and the winner fights for the belt.
Yeah.
Little lightweight tournament. Just because that's fun. Cool. Well, do you want to go on to Cejudo Cruz?
Cejudo Cruz.
What did you think of the stoppage?
I liked it, man. I think Cruz is being a little punk.
Yeah.
He got like obliterated in the face by that knee.
Yeah.
He was definitely out of it. And like, as much as he wants to say he was pushing him up to the feet, I mean, Cejudo was landing those shots.
Yeah.
You could hear them. You could hear like the pound of them smacking his face. And I don't know. And then Dominic Cruz even said after the thing, and don't get me wrong, there could be like a bad stoppage, but you shouldn't have allowed yourself to get in that position. Like, you got kneed in the face, you were almost flattened out. You know what I mean? So I'm not that mad about it. But one thing cool that did come out of that was that Keith Peterson. Yeah. All these Keith Peterson jokes, they're so funny. After the fight, Dom was just like, "Yeah, I don't know. He smelled like cigs and alcohol, so I don't know what he was doing."
The tweet out like, "Time for my afternoon smoke break."
Yeah. I need it. No, it was in between fights. He said, "I need a smoke break."
Yeah. I like the stoppage too, just because there was nothing. It wasn't like Dominic Cruz was landing really hard shots on Cejudo.
Right.
Like, they were going. It was really Cejudo walking him down and winning that fight. And the leg kicks in the first round, like, Dom was trying to jump over them with both legs because they were hurting him so much. It's not like it was close. So I don't think Keith Peterson did him a disservice by stopping it then, because he probably it was going down a bad path for him.
Right. Cejudo had a great game plan coming out with those leg kicks.
Yeah.
Like he said, he doesn't leg kick often. Not many people would expect it. And that was like the base of his fighting style. Yeah. That fight. So
well,
awesome.
what he said he did, he watched TJ Dillashaw versus Dominic Cruz. Mm-hmm. And Dom won the first 3 rounds pretty handedly in that. But the last 2, TJ stopped trying to chase him and land and like hit him in the head, and started ripping him with these leg kicks. Right. And it slowed Dom down so much that he became an easier target, and he started getting, especially in the 5th round, started getting lit up.
Right.
So I love that game plan from Cejudo. I don't like how Cruz is handling this loss, and I think it's just because he's not used to losses. Yeah. Because of who he is. And the Cody Garbrandt one is a little easier to accept because he got legitimately schooled and manhandled. But this is how these crazy people with this attitude, like these ultimate winners, always behave when something doesn't go their way.
Deontay Wilder.
Yes, exactly. Like it's always, if you're used to being fucking big man on campus, like you're the dude who's gonna come in, your self-belief is what drives you instead of like the desire to compete. Right. It always gets hairy for you in these losses, and I think Dom is just angry with himself and lashing out at the closest. Like, the only thing he can give blame to, and that blame happens to be Keith Peterson, who, in my opinion, is an okay ref. He's not the greatest, but he's an okay ref.
Right.
Yeah. It's,
So do you think Cejudo's just doing this as a ploy to, like, get more money?
No.
Or do you think he's done?
I think he's done. He talked about trying to get another Olympic medal.
Yeah.
Which
and he wants to box.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia.
Which
Ryan Garcia was like, just enjoy your belts at UFC. He get his head boxed off.
Yeah, he shouldn't go to boxing. If he wanted to go back to wrestling, it's just so insane.
Right.
I forget what year he won his Olympic medal, but it was a long ass time ago.
Yeah.
As a 21-year-old. So if he went back now, the level of competition with those young dudes who live, eat, sleep, and breathe just wrestling, it's gonna take a while for him to get back into it.
Right.
And who knows? Maybe he's training like that. Maybe he still feels great. But when you step away from it for that amount of time, it's hard to go straight back in because the technique between straight wrestling and MMA wrestling is so very different.
Right.
Like I was an okay freestyle wrestler, much better at it when I can pump a jab in your face and then shoot on you.
Yeah.
Like it's easier in ways and it's harder in ways. What I don't want to see happen is Cejudo be like, all right, I'm retiring, and then in 2 years Dominic Cruz has the belt again. He's like, oh, I beat him once, I can come out of retirement. Because like I saw his surgery scar on his shoulder. He talks about how he doesn't want like all he's known is training. I have a feeling he's gonna get pretty fucking fat.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna go. Cejudo's gonna have a weird couple of years in this future, and I'm excited to watch him. It's gonna be funny.
What about the Francis Ngannou demolition?
I mean, I thought it was well deserved. It's not like.
Can he do that to John Jones?
Maybe it depends. It really just.
If just one of those hit.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy how wild those punches are. Yeah. Imagine if he had some like form and was in tight.
Yeah, I think because he has decent technique and okay technique. Because you saw it when he fought Overeem. I just think he just wanted it. He saw that opening to blitz and he was just like, cool, I have the power.
Like Deontay Wilder does.
Yeah, I have the power to kill you at any moment I want. Let's just do it now.
Right.
And it's not like Rosenstruck did anything. Yeah, super bad.
Boy, was I wrong on that. Remember, I'm like, I think he has a good chance.
well, Rosenstruck did the technically right things. Like, when Ngannou pushed, he threw that inside leg kick to set his foot off center.
It just didn't.
But instead, Ngannou just stepped hard into a right hook and then was like, all right, I'm just going to continue blitzing you.
Right.
So Rosenstruck just backed up in a straight line, tried to kick him to stop the forward pressure. And Ngannou just pressed. Like, he didn't.
Right.
It's one of those things where, like, you're 20 seconds into a fight, you haven't gotten hit yet, you're not warm. I think in a rematch he does better, but I still don't think he beats him. It's just not.
Right.
Like, the size difference between those
two. A little
two.
wimpy leg kick wasn't going to stop a man who grew up in the African salt mines.
Well, it's not even supposed to stop him. Like, you saw it move his leg. Like, he kicked him in his leg steps, and instead of doing the technically good thing and, like, circling off and recovering, he was like, let's do it.
Right. Yeah, dude. I mean, there's not much to talk about the fight in itself other than, I don't know. I would love to see him and John Jones fight.
I really think Francis is going to be heavyweight champ.
I think so, too. I think DC and Stipe are going to eventually handle shit out, and then DC's going to retire.
Yeah.
Stipe already said he's going to retire.
Yeah.
They're both, DC and Stipe both want to retire.
Yeah, dude, Stipe...
And how old is he? How old's Francis?
Francis is like 32.
30, yeah. So he still has a good 6-7 years, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. And for heavyweights, it's the dinosaur division.
Right.
He can handle it forever.
20 seconds. Holy hell.
Stipe has so many miles on his body that a rematch with Ngannou would break him physically. I don't think... Because if you, like...
Even if he fights DC, that gets violent.
Yeah.
That gets violent for both of them.
DC has just the competitor's mind. There's not a lot you can...
Right.
Especially when they both have good chins and they both hit hard. It's going to be a dogfight between those two. So coming out of that and going straight into a Francis fight, it's not good. He'd have to recover for so long.
Exactly. But I'm excited for his future.
Me too.
So like you said, I think he could be champ soon. But Jeremy Stevens, Calvin
Kattar, I love Stevens.
I know, dude, but that step in elbow, he was like, gah.
Yeah. I was sad that he missed weight. And
by 4 pounds, right?
And he came out like a bat out of hell.
Yeah, he did.
And really started putting it on Kattar, and I was like, oh, here we go. And then Kattar just started finding his groove, finding his openings, started sitting down on his punches more, getting more confident trading in the pocket with Stevens. he started hiding his chin very, very well.
Right.
Which is the most impressive part about that, because Jeremy was finding it in the beginning with these beautiful step-in lefts, and as he would circle off the fence, he would throw and land on the temple. And Cater started just hiding his chin more and getting his head out of the way and stepping off center line. So it was just very beautiful, like, adjustments. And then he saw that Jeremy doesn't take his... Really what it was, Jeremy was stepping in without moving his head.
Right.
And once Cater realized that he throws that step-in left hook without really taking anything off the center line, he threw one of his most powerful weapons blindly straight at where his head without his feet, and it just demolished him.
Dude, his boxing is amazing.
It's really crisp.
Calvin's. I love it.
I don't know, man, like, he took Zabit on that third round where he fought Zabit. He was beating Zabit's ass.
Right, I remember that.
And he hit so hard for that division. He has a bright, like, he's a dark horse. He could be champ in the next few years' time. I don't know who I would want to see him fight, though, because the featherweight division is so jumbled up.
Right.
Him versus Zombie would be a good fight.
That would be
though.
sick.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
But then we just had the boring fight with Greg Hardy and Jorgen.
Disappointed.
A little disappointed in that. I mean, Greg Hardy always wins, but it's like kind of like...
Yeah, it's never the way you want
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
it's always a DQ or like a decision. You're cutting to 265 pounds.
Right.
You can't get a fucking knockout.
Moving on to the prelim, I thought Cowboy won that.
Me too. It was a great fight.
Yeah, it was a good fight. I mean, I always love Anthony Pettis. Watching him strike's always a treat. But
yeah.
I think Cowboy won, and especially after all the hardships he's been going through, I think he deserved that one.
Yeah.
Like, he came for, I don't know, I think he won that.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
It's really nice to see his chin is still there, is what I will say.
Yeah, because we talked about that after Conor did that.
Yeah.
Because look at, like Eddie Alvarez's chin was never the same.
Yeah.
Like, after Conor did that to him.
Yeah. It's Eddie, but Eddie's was so weird because then he fought Gaethje and just got went through the fire and the flames with Gaethje and was okay.
Right.
And well, it's because Gaethje throws clubbing power while Conor's more precise. It's a difference between the two.
Right.
Pettis is a bit of a sniper. Like he has a similar
like
style to Conor. Yes.
Yeah.
So I was really worried about this, but Donald put on a show, and I really thought he won that. I was so worried that his chin was just going to have a little bit of a defect to it after the Conor fight. Right. Because Conor, look at Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz can't take a shot anymore, and that's half because of the
That's why
fight he had
I just
with
think
Conor.
if him and Conor rematch, I think Conor's going to knock him out.
Me too.
I think, especially the way he looked against Cowboy.
Yeah.
That Conor just looks jacked. He's like scary. But yeah, dude, that Pettis, I don't know. I like we talked about these past three events, almost every decision I thought went to the guy I thought won, or didn't go to the guy I thought won.
Yeah.
And it was like, it sucks when that happens in sports so often. It's okay every now and then, but when it's every single decision, and then you talk to other people and they agree with you, it's just rough. Yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah, it's hard to see Donald.
I think
fight's good.
Right. I think RDA tweeted, he was like, in Jacksonville, you need a knockout.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no.
Jacksonville called for a Pettis rematch. I would love that.
Really?
At welterweight too. I would love that. That's a great fight.
Verdum.
Yeah.
Fabricio.
Let me down.
Yeah. That's your boy.
Dude, in that fifth round, he was coming on strong with submissions. I was like, wow, it's
right.
It's Verdum the way he should be. But I don't know if it was a time off, the fact that he got caught for PEDs and maybe isn't on them anymore.
Probably a mixture of everything with the coronavirus and everything. Like,
Yeah.
I know we said like coronavirus isn't an excuse, but it still definitely throws in like a kick, and mentally too, everything.
Mm-hmm. He just didn't look like himself in those first two rounds.
Alexi's a killer though.
He is,
He's scary.
Verdum was looking fucking thick too.
Yeah, he was.
He has a gut on him now.
He was.
And once your body is starting to go like that, and you're not like when you're in a camp, you should be getting shredded. Like it's not.
Right.
And you like these dudes like Kelvin Gastelum and like Fabricio in that fight. You're like, what are you eating that is not letting you get fucking ripped? it's either old age and your body wants to hold on to that excess water, or you're eating like a fucking moron.
Right.
For Verdum, I'm gonna bet it's his body's aging and he wants to hold on to excess water, and that's like when you have to start looking at maybe retiring because you're not moving the same as you
exactly.
used to, yeah. Vicente Luque versus Nico Price was an amazing fight.
Dude, Nico was all busted up.
Yeah.
He posted that picture on Instagram. That looked crazy. His nose was all...
They refused to give Luque a fight that isn't with just savage motherfucker.
Yeah.
His last
like
3 fights...
Does he have the same agent as Cowboy?
Yeah, exactly. Like, they don't give him anyone where like, oh yeah, this is going to be either a knockdown, drag-out brawl, or you have to fight Wonder Boy.
Right.
Like, he doesn't get either or. He has to fight Mike Perry, Wonder Boy, Nico Price.
Right.
Like, give the man someone he can actually put to sleep instead of like these fucking cast iron motherfuckers.
Right.
Like, he needs someone where he can get like... Because he's close to being up in that upper echelon of fighters.
Right.
He's very good. And like you saw when he fought Wonder Boy, he was a few technical steps away from landing big shots on Wonder Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just young in his career, he still is. He can make the adjustments to win that fight. But like give him someone that he can fucking put out cold. Give him a highlight reel knockout.
Right.
And he already has a few, but give him a big name that he can put to sleep and he'll have many more fans. Because right now, all he's known for is like knockdown, drag-out brawls. That man is a technically superior boxer to a lot of the people in the division.
And then the next fight was Bryce Mitchell
Yeah.
versus Charles Rosa.
Bryce Mitchell showing out.
Dude, 3 twister
Yeah.
attempts. Is that what it was? That's like unheard of.
It also, he had it locked in. Like it wasn't like that. He had it.
Right.
He just didn't tap to a spine crank.
Right.
So like, and Charles Rosa is also a legit jiu-jitsu practitioner. It's not like he did that to a fucking nobody from the middle of nowhere. They didn't give him a sacrificial lamb for this fight.
Right.
He got a tough motherfucker who knows how to wrestle, knows how to grapple, and is like a legit problem for a lot of people in that division, and he dealt with him in spectacular fashion. I really didn't believe how well he performed, but...
Dude, I told you, the hype is real with Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah.
Arkansas boy. Dude, he's a savage. He can strike. He's great. The pressure, like DC compared him to Khabib. I know we were talking about that. Like and you said how he just is so great at getting to like forward his positioning, and just his positioning on the ground is amazing.
Yeah.
So
his style is so different from Khabib too, which is the night. Well, Khabib holds you still and swooshes you. Bryce flows, which is he lets you move into positions and then takes advantage of your movements.
Right.
Which is just, while I don't want to say it's technically better than Khabib's, because Khabib's technique comes with just the absurd amount of strength he has as a person. But for me, it's more enjoyable to watch Bryce Mitchell's type of grappling instead of Khabib's.
Right. It's more entertaining.
Yeah.
But I think that's it for the UFC 249.
Yeah.
It was an awesome card. Shout out Jacksonville, Florida for allowing everything to go down.
Repping for us.
And then moving on to UFC Fight Night, Smith versus Teixeira.
Yeah.
That one was like a big upset. I mean, we both thought Anthony Smith was going to take that one.
Yeah.
And Glover said no.
Well, dude, the first round didn't look good for Glover.
Right.
And even most of the second didn't look great for Glover. But once he stepped in and landed that uppercut, that very obviously did a shitload of damage to Smith's eye.
Right.
Because he thought he didn't think it was a poke, but he immediately, it was like the only shot Glover had landed really clean up until that point, and Smith immediately covered his eye. You're like, oh, that's not good. So, man, I like DC's points that he made where Smith was just throwing too much. I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be something that fighters have to adjust to. Because when you can when you can heal your corner the entire time, it makes sense.
Especially when you have like a good coach that like you really trust and respect. You probably want to please him and do the things he says. Yeah. But if you do every little thing, you'll eventually get tired and gassed.
He's a big boy. That's all it is. James Krause is an amazing coach, and it worked. To that point, Anthony was putting on a show for us. He was answering his coach's calls, doing all the techniques that they saw openings for.
Right.
So they prepared wonderfully for Glover. I think he just did a little too much too fast. He should have just dropped that pace a little bit.
Right.
Because that kind of pace works when you're making Glover work too. But
Right.
Glover was really just covering up.
His ground and
resetting.
pound was
He's nasty.
Oh my god.
Glover's top game might be the best in the UFC.
You could hear every hit.
Yeah.
Every hit. He would hit him in the neck, he'd hit him in the top of the
Yeah.
head, and it would just be like, you would just hear the pound of the hit.
It's so gnarly. I said best in the UFC. Best in the light heavyweight division.
Right.
Because once he gets on top of you, you don't go anywhere, and he just works his way up to your neck and strangles you or
Right.
beats the hell out of you. So good. I don't know if Glover's going to make another run for the title, but man, I would love to see him versus like Thiago Santos or another one of those
would
guys.
he be the oldest to win the title?
No,
when
Randy Couture would still, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Randy Couture won
Randy was
it
like
when
48.
He was like 40, yeah.
He's so old. But yeah, shout out to Anthony Smith and Glover.
Yeah.
I think Anthony can bounce back.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy.
He has a
so-
long life in this division.
Right.
He's going to be
Right.
absolutely fine.
Moving on to Ben Rothwell and OSP.
Yeah.
Uh,
This was honestly, in my opinion, a pretty boring fight.
oh yeah,
But what has come out of it is that John Jones is talking some shit
right.
now. Because Ovens went up and handled another big, strong heavyweight very well.
Yeah.
Much better than I thought he would. While Ben won that fight, he didn't win that fight.
Right,
You know, like
right.
he just eked out a decision. He didn't put a stamp on anything.
Right.
So yeah, it is what it is. It makes me excited for John Jones at heavyweight. Makes me excited for OSP at heavyweight too, because he looked good. It's just he was so apprehensive about
Right.
moving forward on Ben. Yeah.
I think this really shows us like how long was OSP? Was he always a light heavyweight before
Yeah.
this? He never fought in heavyweight
They
ever.
never fought at heavyweight.
I mean that is a crazy thing to think. Like maybe some of these guys, like especially with John Jones, maybe he will move around better when he doesn't cut anything and just like has all the muscle he can.
Yeah.
He'll probably power lift everything, do
Yeah.
all the crazy nonsense. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I just want to see Francis first.
Yeah.
I want to see him and Francis.
Yeah. Sometimes I look at the heavyweight division and the light heavyweight division, and if you look at their heights and like their size and everything,
Right.
I'm like, the only difference between you two is that the heavyweights have a gut.
Right.
And so like,
right.
Sometimes it just seems that a lot of heavyweights are just lazy dudes who don't want to get to 205.
Right.
Which is fun.
Like imagine if Roy Nelson like lost his gut.
Oh, he's a 170.
And he could do it easily.
He fights GSP and
right. That's what I mean. Like in his prime, some of the big overhands could have dropped some of them lighter dudes maybe.
Yeah. Because
But-
you have legit heavyweights. Like
Right.
you have Reem, you have Stipe. DC is not really a legit
Yeah,
heavyweight.
he could be like a
Yeah, DC's 5'10". He just hates dieting. Do you ever see the video of him when he's getting ready to go fight? What's his name? The Beast, Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis, yeah.
And it's him and Dom Cruz, and they're doing like breakdown stuff, and they have like a little packed lunch that
Yeah.
the studio gave him, and he's like, Cruz, you gonna eat those chips? He's like, no. He's like, all right, and just steals his Lay's chips. You're like, what are you doing, DC? You have a fight in like 2 weeks.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And then this one you loved,
Yeah.
Drew Dober, because you hate Alex Hernandez.
Drew Dober is genuinely really
only like
fucking
5'8".
good. Yeah. They're tiny guys. They're lightweights. What do you expect from them?
Yeah. Well, isn't he like? How tall is he? He was definitely taller than him.
Then Drew Dober?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like Donald Cerrone is 5'11", 6 foot, and he had like 5 inches on Alex Hernandez. These are tiny dudes.
Damn.
They're little guys. But Dober is Gaethje's main sparring partner, which says a lot.
Yeah.
And I watched his last fight against Harbquast or whatever that German guy's name is, and that dude, the German dude, is a destroyer. Like he moves forward,
Right.
wrestles dudes, beats you up. Dober put him to sleep in like a minute, and it's just he's so technically good, and you saw it because Hernandez is also he's a good fighter,
Right.
but he uses his athleticism to make up for a lack of technique, which gets you places in the UFC as long as you're a jack of all trades. Dober is a smasher in Muay Thai and just had to learn how to defend a takedown.
Right.
So you see when Alex doesn't have the grappling skills to get the takedown on Dober, it gets hairy for him. So, and like after his loss to Donald Cerrone, people were pretty high on him. I don't think he's that great. I think, and for him to be like, that performance Donald gave against Conor made me flaccid. My dick was hard, and then I went completely soft. Fucking worry about yourself, dude. You're getting beat down by dudes who aren't even in the rankings. Donald's doing his own thing. He's an all-time great. You don't get to talk shit about him like that. Such a little idiot.
You hate him.
I do.
That's funny. And then Ricky Simone fought Ray Borg.
Yeah,
that was a great fight, dude. They were scrapping. Ricky Simone, I just love his, like, he's like an all-around kind of guy, and he's quick, he's exciting. But at the end, one thing that really stood out to me, Ray Borg started working the body, and he started. I love the way body shots sound with no fans. It's just like it just it's so clean. I just love it. It's just like a thud, and you're just like, oh, that hurt.
Yeah, I don't know if this is Ray Borg's first time at bantamweight, because he's missed weight at flyweight so many times, and he's definitely undersized for the division. He is 100% a flyweight. I don't know what his weight cut problems were, if it was just lack of discipline as far as diet and those kind of things. This is not his division. Like, Ricky Simone was so much bigger than him. It was absurd at times.
Right.
And it's not like he was much taller than him, but in like, if you look at their backs when they're standing next to each other, Simone is much wider.
Right.
And that transfers into punching power and like your squeeze, which gives, and you saw it gave Borg a lot of problems. Ricky was just a little lankier and longer, and it's I don't think he has a lot of life in that division. I want to see him get his weight problems under control and go back to flyweight. It's really where he belongs. Simone is a really good fighter. Yeah,
I like him.
I think he lost to Hot Sauce Holtzman, or one of those guys from that camp, in his last fight in a close decision. He's on the up and up. He like, Simone trains with Michael Chiesa, so like, as long as he's not ever going to adopt Chiesa's style, but if he can take like the best parts of that combined with his just aggression and he has some clean boxing technique, he'll be a pretty good fighter. Yeah, he got unlucky against Faber. He got caught with a big shot. It is what it is. That happens. Yeah. So hopefully he can make some good bounds in this division.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. Andrei Arlovsky won by decision, right?
Yeah, I
wasn't really much.
I don't know why Andre doesn't retire. Breaks.
Right. Maybe he needs the money.
Yeah, he's been doing it for so long, man. I don't get the fighters that just stick around. If you're never going to be a world champ, you're never going to make that money. You're just going to get brain damage. You're just going to get fucked up. Maybe you just love fighting, but invest in yourself, man. He still has a good head on his shoulders. He can go do shit. His nose, like, I just looked at his photo and saw his nose. It is just smashed. Yeah, Michael Johnson got caught in a leg lock 20 seconds into the second round.
I know.
He looked so good in the first two.
Dude, I wish we could have saw that fight with him and Kama Worthy on that Gaethje Khabib card in New York, because I really want to see Kama against like someone with a name in the UFC. You know, but it sucked watching him get subbed like that. But
it's hard being a Michael Johnson fan, because in all of his fights he'll do really, really well, and then it just, something happens and he gets finished, or like he does really, really well for most of the round, and then a dude gets a takedown on him and he gets smashed for the rest of the round, and they give it to the other guy, and you're like, well, god damn it. He looks so good in that first round. Yeah. You can't rest in those leg lock positions because it's not safe. You feel safe. You'll feel no pressure at all, but a small little movement all of a sudden makes it excruciatingly painful. It is what it is. He got a little not lazy. He just thought he had a moment to rest and gather himself, and then Moses cranked it.
You can't do that with a guy named Tiago. Thank you so much for watching. Follow us on Twitter Planet_Fight, Instagram, PlanetFight123, and Facebook, Planet_Fight. Again, thank you to all our supporters and fans. I'm Dip.
I'm Tuck.
And we're out. Yeah.